This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time! Presenting the champion of the world, Bill WamBam Benamino!
Yo, it's your boy, it's Bill WamBam Benamino, and it's another WamBam Wednesday. And as always, baby, we say, please subscribe. Go down there, click the link. Subscribe, like it, comment on the podcast today. Tell us everything you like. The show about ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Today is no different. We got the famous redhead here today. That's right. We got Carrot. No, we don't. We actually got Red Taylor from Red Taylor Insurance, baby. It's business. Red, how you doing today?
Let's go, brother. What a introduction, man. Thanks,
man,
Bill.
you are a good-looking redheaded man. I'm not gonna lie, man. You know, if I had to go red, that's the way I'd like to look. The long hair, you know, and everything.
Let's go. You got me feeling good now. This is gonna be a great show, bro. Well, hey, I need that on my phone alarm when I wake up in the morning. I need that intro, brother.
We'll have to do something. We'll get Panda. We'll get something done for you.
Panda, you hook that up for us, bro?
Yeah, we get it done.
I like it.
So, Red, you know what? Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. Obviously, very successful insurance company. We're gonna talk business today, folks. We're gonna talk insurance. We're gonna talk all those questions you want to know about insurance, health insurance, life insurance, why you need this shit, okay? Why you have to have it.
It's important.
It's super important.
It really is. It's a topic that not a lot of people want to talk about. I mean, health insurance is complicated. It's hard to understand for people. It's expensive, and so it's not something that people really want to have a lot of thought conversations about. But brother, it is extremely important in all of our lives. You look at every corporation in America, the number 2 expense behind their payroll is their health insurance. You look at people like you and I who are small business owners, their number 2 expense behind their payroll is their health insurance. The average American family, their number 2 expense is their health insurance. And so what I've done is for the last 25 years, I've made it my mission, the culture of my company, to go out and help a ton of people, as many people as I possibly can. You know, Zig Ziglar, I heard him say many, many years ago, and I don't know how many of you remember who Zig Ziglar is, but he's a great one, and I encourage you to look him up. He said, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to have all the money that you could possibly have and reach your wildest dreams, instead of being a go-getter, learn how to be a go-giver. And that's really the culture of our company. We want to give people the peace of mind at the highest possible savings that we can.
Now, you know what, Red, how did you get into insurance sales? Obviously, growing up and stuff, are you born and raised in Georgia? Where are you from originally?
No, brother, thanks for asking. I was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. Really tough childhood, man. We didn't have anything. My father, he was an alcoholic. My mom was just a hard worker. Nobody in my family was educated. And
what'd your father do?
Dad, he was in the Air Force.
Okay.
And he got out of the Air Force. He retired out of the Air Force. And of all things, he kind of got sober. I think something around, that's what's so crazy about it, man. I don't remember a whole lot about my childhood. I don't know if that's good or bad, but, to be honest with you, I don't remember. But he got sober.
Isn't it funny, though, a lot of times we remember the bad stuff? Like, we remember you saying he's an alcoholic, like, the bad things always come up, though.
Right. Specifically, and I'll get off subject, so you got to bring me back. But statistically, 84% of our mind's thoughts automatically go towards negative versus positive. Yeah. Okay, that's like a scientific study. I mean, that is dramatic, and so we have to work in order to find positivity in our day to day and in our thought game, which is very important to being successful. But Dad got sober and he left. He left us. He walked out on my mom, and I don't begrudge or anything like that. It's what happened. Back when we were kids, things just happened, dude. You figured it out. You rolled your sleeves up. It hurt. It sucked, but you rolled your sleeves up and you went on about life, and that's kind of the way it was. And then after that, he became a rehab counselor for a little bit, which as I can remember, he was miserable. It was. I think that something about him was called to help folks that he's like, but he was just miserable doing it. Ed Milet said something on one of his shows that really resonated with me, and he said that we are most equipped to help the people that we once were. Think about that. And when I heard him say that, I was like, man, that's like my dad.
Right.
You know, he tried, I think, you know, he got well for a while, and then he went and tried to help the person that he used to be. Right. And I don't think he was very successful or happy at it, but he was trying.
I mean, I think a lot of that, especially when you do something that you know is not really good. You know what I'm saying? Being a former alcoholic that he was, he probably realized, hey, I didn't do everything right. And I can maybe help others who now are in the same situation get well so they don't go through what I went through, right?
Right.
I mean, let's think about it. This is what we all want for our kids, for anybody. Like, you know, we want to try to help those that are out there in the world. And it's easier to help somebody if we've already experienced it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
naturally.
it totally makes sense.
Naturally, it's within our wheelhouse. And so that's what he did that for a little bit. You know, I think we're talking about me growing up, I kind of went back and forth living between my mom and my dad. And, you know, he'd gone and gotten married, moved up a couple of hours away there in Alabama. And my mom stayed there around the Montgomery area. And man, they put me and my little sister on a bus, on a Greyhound, to go see each other 2 hours away, 3 hours away. So, so it was just a different time, a different world. Like I said, man, we didn't have a whole lot.
How's your relationship now with them?
Well, they're both gone now.
Oh, okay.
So, my mother was actually murdered back in she was murdered. She was killed in 1995, man. It was it was a terrible freak accident that there may have been some foul play. We've never gotten into it.
I gotta slow you down for a second.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. How old were you when this happened?
24 years old.
So 24 years old.
Yeah.
Are you living at home now? Are you in college?
I was out. I was in between going to college and working a career job. Like I said, we didn't have any money, so when I'd gotten a scholarship to play football out of high school at Jacksonville State University, a D2 school over in North Alabama, got hurt. And, once you get hurt, those D2s, they don't keep your scholarship. So they sent me home. So I was working and tilling around with jobs. And my mother had she'd opened a little country store. I mean, just a little old country store in a small town. And she came in one night, and back in those days, they would sit around in the back of the store, and a few of the locals, they would play penny poker because they were all broke. They didn't have no money, and drink beer. Okay. And Mom did. She wasn't a drinker. So she liked to drink Diet Cokes and smoke cigarettes. So she smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and just worked, from sun up till sun, all night long. So she stopped by, and instead of going home, she went in and got her some Diet Cokes and a pack of cigarettes. She walked back out the door, and the door that she walked out was the wrong one. So she had parked her van up in the front instead of where she thought she had parked it in the back. Well, in the room, there were 3 walls. There was a bathroom door, an exterior bathroom wall, and then an outside wall outside of that. And there were no windows in this room. And a man by the name of Dan Fuller, for whatever reason, stood up and fired a gun, and it traveled through those 3 walls, windowless walls, and struck my mother in the head, and ended her life right there.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. I mean, those are things that you see in a movie. You don't think that they really happen. I'm sorry, my heart goes out to you. I hate to bring you back down that journey and stuff, but that had been pretty hard. What was that phone call like?
Bruh, it was awful. It was awful.
So this guy just fired a gun for no reason, out of the blue, mad at somebody else in another room, and it just travels through the wall and
so obviously that's a call that nobody wants to get. It's devastating, and it marks time in your life, right? Everything before that was different, and everything after that was different. But let me tell you what the positive of it is, okay? First and foremost, like I said, my mother had smoked cigarettes her whole life. So she was 52 years old. She battled emphysema, bronchitis, heart issues. She already had a pacemaker, and diabetes. So she was headed towards a long 10, 12-year battle with, heart disease. And we were going to watch her. You know how this goes. You're going to watch your most beloved person in the world just vanish away, a sick death. And so, it did save her from that, and it saved us from that. Secondly, and maybe even more importantly, Phil, what I've learned, and I want everybody to listen to this, is I learned the power of forgiveness out of this. Okay, so I was a young man, and I was full of being a young man. Okay, and I wanted I was angry at that man.
I bet you were.
You know, and,
I mean, would you do that? I mean, that guy, you know who did it. You know, did he get arrested? Did he go to jail? Like,
got arrested, went to trial, and I'll tell you that. But you know, so I went up there one day to find him with intention to do, you know, serious harm to him.
Sure.
Okay.
Eye for an eye.
And you know, thank God above that he wasn't where he was supposed to be at that time. And I, you know, I waited and I waited and I waited, and he never showed up, and I left. And the very next week, I'm back in class, a night class, okay? And I'll never forget this. It was almost like an out-of-body experience. I'm sitting in the classroom, and I'm watching the teacher teach, and he's talking, but I can't really hear what he's saying. You know, almost sounds like Charlie Brown teacher, wah, 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 wah.
Right.
And I start looking around the classroom, and I'm seeing all these people that are in there, and they're just going through their day. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, nobody knows. Nobody has a clue what I'm going through.
Right.
Nobody. And no matter what happens tonight or tomorrow, if I go and try to do this again, all these people are going to continue to live their life. So what I realized at that point is that life is going to go on with or without me, no matter what, okay? So I could either hold that anger and that resentment and that hatred and let it tear my life apart and go and do something that was going to change my ultimate family's trajectory.
Your whole life.
Or I could forgive that man. I could forgive him. And brother, I don't know how I did it, but I did. My sisters couldn't do it. Okay. They wanted him to go to prison for the rest of his life, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care. He got 6 months.
Right.
I didn't care. I mean, I only showed up for the first day of trial, and I left after that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to bring her back.
Can't bring her back.
Nothing's going to bring her back. And this guy's he's a non-factor on the earth. You know, he's a loser of magnificent proportions. And so why would I continue to allow negative energy, negative focus on this situation where I can't do a dang thing about it? So, man, I'm just telling you right now, I don't know how that happened for me.
Well, I know.
But brother,
I know how. The
It's
higher
the good
power,
Lord
man.
above. I'm telling you, man.
I mean, you're obviously, you know, you're very spirited, and
Yeah.
you're very, you know, yoked when it comes to
I wasn't
God
at that
stuff.
point in time, though.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you were, because I think even at the time, your natural, you know, ability of what you wanted to do, I think is natural for anybody, right? When you take away somebody who you love, somebody close to you, a family member,
Your mom.
it could be anything. That's your mom, dude. And yeah, I can only imagine the anger that you had and stuff. But I'm thankful for the glory, also the fact that you were able to realize,
Yeah.
I can't bring her back.
Yeah.
I could take this guy out, and then what ends up? You're in jail for the rest of your life. You don't get to fulfill your family's dreams. Think of all the things you've done since that moment at 24 would not even be there.
Right.
It would all be erased.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's funny because people, and I hope there's some, viewers that are out there who have anger on people because they've done things. Maybe they can find it in their hearts to kind of let it go.
Man, I love that you said that, because being able to forgive that man has absolutely opened the ways of goodness for my life. It's opened the ways for me to experience things beyond my wildest dreams, to be successful beyond what I ever thought I could be successful. Not that I thought I could be, because I always felt like I was different. I always felt like I had something out there for me. And I don't know why. Once again, it's the good Lord above that put that dream in my heart. And, you know, I'll tell you right now, that dream that's in your heart, God didn't put it in there not to see it come to fruition. He put it in there for a reason, but we have to take action on it, and that was the action that I was able to take on it. And I would encourage anybody right now that's dealing with pain, that's dealing with anger, that's dealing with the desire for retribution and revenge, man, pray it away.
Yeah.
Give it away. Because it's not going to lead you to what your ultimate destiny is going to be. What your ultimate destiny is. It's not going to give you the opportunity to be successful. I talk to my kids all the time. I talk to my team all the time. If you have elements in your life that are keeping you from your dreams, if you have things in your life that are bringing you down, that are putting roadblocks from you being successful, whatever your success is, okay, eliminate them. get them out of your life. They're not there. And that's really the culture of our company. That's the culture of my business. And I tell all these guys all the time, my culture is it's going to squeeze you up. It's not going to squeeze you out. We're going to squeeze you up. If you're out there, and you're one of our young guys and you're smoking weed all the time and you're wanting to go and you're doing things that are going to take you away from being a professional at our place of employment, you're not going to fit in. You're not going to last very long. It's just the culture that we have is truly a culture that. And I ain't there yet. I'm trying.
Let me ask you. Let me take you back because you mentioned about smoking weed. Let's talk about that for a second because a lot of these kids today, especially the younger generation, weed's more acceptable now than back in the day when we were raised growing up. It's legal in some states, and they think it's not a bad not a big deal. I mean, do you find it that it is a big deal? What is your theory on that?
So if I were just sitting here and you and I were talking, I would say, I don't care. It's up to you. It's your business, right? It's not a big deal. But if we're being honest and we're talking about people trying to chase their dreams, trying to be successful, I think that's what your show is about. I think that's who your audience is. And I think that's what I'm about. And so my thing is, does smoking weed help you to achieve your goals? Okay. Now, I understand if maybe there's a medicinal purpose to it for people that are suffering with anxiety, maybe people that are suffering from depression and things like that. I
don't buy that. Right? I don't buy that. You know what? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. You're not suffering from anxiety, so I'm going to smoke because it calms me down.
Right.
No, you got to find out what the root is and fix it.
Yeah.
Most people's anxiety comes from things that they're worried about that they can't control anyways. 80% of people's anxiety problems come from things they can't control. They worry that things are going to happen that never happen.
Yes.
Type of thing. So, I think that's a cop-out. I think it's an excuse. My theory on it is, listen, there's a place and time for everything. If that's what somebody needs to do to unwind and chill, whatever, fine. But if that's something you got to rely on a daily basis because it puts you at a certain level and allows you that you think, okay, I perform better, or I do this better, or I do that better, then you're using something to make you somebody who you're really not.
Nonsense.
That you're really not.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Your best person, the best version of you lies right behind the hard things that you are avoiding doing on a daily basis. That's who the best version of us is, right? None of us like to do hard stuff, okay? Because it's hard, right? I mean, dude, I'm all about fitness. I'm all about health. I want to live to be 100 healthily, okay? But do you think I like to walk in that same gym every day? Man, I don't like walking in the gym.
I love walking in because when I walk out, I feel great.
I like walking out. But I know in my mind what walking in gets me because if I'm in there, I'm doing the work, right? And the work must be done. If you're going to attain your goals, if you're going to be successful, the work must be done. There is not an elevator that you can walk into and press, hey, I'm pressing the penthouse button and go straight up to success. Doesn't work that way, okay? Even all these young people that we see that are influencers and they're making all this money overnight, or it seems like this instant success that people have had, okay? Well, I contend that for many people, dealing with success is harder than dealing with failure. So think about that. Would you agree in your experience?
It's tough because the whole social media stuff and the people that are being success is defined many different ways.
Sure.
And obviously I don't define success based on what you have. I define success based on what you do with what you have. Yep. To me, that's what's important, and that's where my core values are at and stuff. A lot of these people that you see that are successful, quote unquote, financially on social media and stuff, they were already successful anyways. They may have been professional athletes. They may have done something in their life. And it's a very small portion of what the real world is about. Well, you know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah, and they're miserable at home.
Of course.
Okay? And they're miserable in their personal life. They're miserable in their marriages. Man, I'm telling you, I'm on my second marriage. My first marriage was failed. And, that'll forever be the biggest mistake of my life. The biggest downfall.
Why do you say it was a fail?
Bro, because I wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be the opposite of my father.
So you feel like you failed?
For the 18 years that I was married, it was my fault. I felt like it was my fault because I'm such an achiever that I felt like that it was within my power, my responsibility, my duty to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And so I held that failure, I held that guilt. And the reason I say it's failure today is simply because, you know, I did want a family. I wanted a whole 1-unit family, okay? Now, what I have in my second marriage is what I desired the whole time. Okay, I've got a lady that loves me, that looks up to me, that lifts me up, that gives me courage, that gives me inspiration. And so when I think about letting her down, then it's not going to happen. You know, I want to be the man that God needs me to be for her. I want to be the person that she needs me to be. That you know, she looks at me like I'm a bowl of candy, you know, and I want to be that man for her, and I want to be that man for our family.
Well, if
and
a
I want
woman
to be
looked
that
at me
example.
like a bowl of candy, I'd be pretty excited. I'm just saying. I'd want to come home. You know?
Right. So I don't want to go and do things that are going to jeopardize our relationship. Okay. Am I perfect? Heck no. You still mess up. Everybody does, and I'm still a me-focused guy. But I've learned, you know, for this point, if she needs me to do something, she's telling me to do something, I'm gonna look at her and say, okay. And I said, no. I'll let you know when I'm done. No, it's okay, baby. Okay.
What's your wife's name?
Stephanie.
So Stephanie, there you have it. All you gotta do is tell him. He's gonna say okay.
She knows.
You put it out there.
But we've got a great relationship.
That's great.
And we work on it. And let me tell you something. It's hard. It's hard. Marriage is hard. I think marriage is the most difficult relationship in the human existence. Okay, we're all wired to be selfish. We're all wired to be self-focused, and our eyes see the opposite sex and gender now more than they ever have, and we're attracted to those things. In Proverbs, the Bible said, for the eyes of man are never full, therefore he will never be satisfied, okay? And I don't know how I just pulled that out, but that's the truth, man. That's what the scripture says, okay?
Hey, folks, this is WamBam at WamBam's podcast. I want to take a moment to thank our major sponsor, Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. If you're a business owner and you're accepting credit cards or need to accept credit cards, reach out to Cost Plus Processing at 1-855-391-9190. That's 1-855-391-9190. And find out why they are the future in merchant processing. Now back to the show. I always say, you know, divorce is hard. Marriage is hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard, you know?
Right.
Being healthy is hard. Being sick is hard. Choose your hard.
Amen.
You know, so it doesn't matter what you do in life. There's going to be hard roads along the way. It's how you handle them and if you can learn from them stuff, you know? And why not learn from people like yourself, you know? So, you know, take me back. So getting back into, you know, you're 24 years old, your mom passed away. Now, you know, you're the man of the house. I mean, there's nobody else, no support system there for you. Where do you go from there? And how do you get into the insurance company? I mean, I know that, you know, what Dave Ramsey is somebody that's actually, you know, you're his right hand type of man. You know, you've been working with him to create and develop your company. How did that all start?
So it started when I was, I went back and I went, you know, finished college and actually, you know, after my mother passed, I was working in a warehouse, and there was a man that was, it was a janitorial and industrial supply company, okay? And there was a guy that came in there all the time. He owned a little company, and his name was Curtis Stewart. Curtis was the third string running back at Auburn University behind Bo Jackson. Nobody knows who Curtis's name was, but he was a local volunteer high school coach, and it was my high school rival as well. And so we would always talk ball, and he was like, man, you need to be coaching football, Red. You need to be coaching football. You got it. You got it. And I was like, dude, I can't afford to go to college, man. So he came in one day and he says, I got it. I said, what you talking about, Curtis? He said, you can go to Alabama State University. I said, what? He said, yeah, Alabama State. I said, you talking about the historically black university, Alabama State? He said, yeah, the Supreme Court just ordered them to desegregate. He said, here, call this lady. Here's a number, and she'll get you set up. So I called her, and within a week, I was enrolled. I left that job. I was enrolled at Alabama State, the only white kid in the school.
Really?
Okay?
What was that like?
And I was in history.
Wait, so you're not what? You're red, man. You're red.
Yeah, let's go. But I was a little more mature. You know, I was 24. I was 25 at the time, so I was goal driven. You know, I'm showing up. I'm sitting in the front. I'm getting, dude. I remember the first day I walked into class. The teacher there. It's a I was a history major as a history class. Well, at Alabama State, it's all black history, okay? So I was baptized. We stood up, the whole classroom grabbed hands and sang a Baptist hymn, an old slave Baptist hymn. So I'm sitting there looking around, I'm like, this is really my life. But dude, it was cool.
What did it make you
it's
feel
so
like?
different.
Well, yeah,
I grew up in Montgomery. So, I went to Robert E. Lee High School. All of my teammates were blue collar white guys, and the other half were black guys from the neighborhoods or the projects or whatever. And we were brothers. I mean, still to this day, I've got friends that are brothers. Sure. And I talk to them and we communicate. So anyway, got done at Alabama State and I was coaching football there at Lee. And after 3 years,
what position did you coach?
I was the O-line coach at Lee. Yeah, our head football coach, Jimmy Perry, is one of the greatest there ever was. I was the first guy ever let be his O-line coach. And I was good at it, man. I loved it. I was passionate. And those kids, they were inspired by me, and I was inspired by them, and I wanted to be great. I wanted to be the best. And after the third year there, I ended up getting a job at Auburn University coaching with Coach Tommy Tuberville, who is now Senator Tommy Tuberville, and his staff.
Now, let me ask you, because Brandon Jacobs, who was on our pod, a while back, obviously went to Auburn. Actually was big dude. He actually was the third string running back as well.
Right.
Behind a couple,
Cadillac and Ronnie Brown.
That's right. Cadillac, Ronnie Brown, both drafted in the first round. Brandon was drafted like in the sixth round and stuff, but turns out to go on and have a better NFL career and
Great career,
than most and stuff. So were you there during that time?
He came just after me. I think those guys. Ronnie came the year after I did, and then Cadillac, and then Brandon Jacobs. So they all just right behind me. So, and they were the part of turning Auburn around and making them a championship caliber football program. Right. So I was only there for one full season and two really off seasons. And man, I was in way over my head. It was a job that I wasn't comfortable with because my knowledge base wasn't there. I was promoted too early. Okay. Failure. Success is sometimes harder to deal with than failure, right? At a young age. So I was promoted too early. And, secondly, man, those guys work. They work 80, 100 hours a week, and it don't matter. I mean, it's 50 weeks out of the year. If you're a college football coach and you hear me right now, you guys never stop. It is a hard job. So you have to either love it or you got to need it.
That's right.
So, and most of them do love it and need it.
Yeah, they love it.
So,
being a football coach, and I've done it for a long time as well. The passion.
Yeah.
You got to remember, competing. Everybody wants to compete, but everybody wants to win, and you got to stay above. You got to stay above, so you can't let down, because as soon as you do, boom, that's when you're going to get sneaked. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You get passed.
That's right.
So reached out to a couple of guys at that time and was looking, for a career change. And anyways, I'd met a man that wanted to recruit me for insurance. So I went and met with him, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do insurance, because I was weighing at the time doing a landscaping company, lawn maintenance company, or insurance. And so it's like, thank you, God, for sending me to insurance over lawn maintenance. So I got into insurance. A very good friend of mine, one of my best friends, Michael Dennis, had just broken off and started his own agency at the time, had, some really big products. He's like, man, come over here. I want to show you what I got. So I went and saw him. He's like, hey, here's health insurance. This is what you do. These are the people that need it. Everybody's got to have health insurance. I mean, all the people that are self-employed, they don't get good deals like they do if they work at GE, IBM, Coca-Cola, or DuPont. So they have to shop their insurance all the time. And we have these products that can really help them, and you can make good money with it. I said, okay, I'm in. Let's go. So, that was it. I started there and never looked back. And I've been blessed. I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. One of the things that I really became passionate about early on, obviously, is replacing that juice of that competition was making those sales. Mm-hmm. When you hear somebody say yes and they give you a check, you roll up, and within 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you've made a relationship, you've created a bond, and they're giving you a check to walk out the door. Man, those are dubs. That's winning, And then, those paychecks start coming in, and they're looking really good, too.
Well, on top of it all, you're helping them, right? You're putting them in a good position from where they were before. I'm certain you're not putting them in a worse position when it comes to it. But insurance gets a bad rap, man. A lot of people don't understand about insurance. And I want to kind of dive into this for a second, because I want to talk a little bit about, because a lot of people look at insurance, you got to have it, like you said, but why does it go up every year? Why is it every single year? For example, in my company, I got a premium and stuff. Every year we got to shop it again. Every year it's going to go up. Why is it if there's no claims and there's no problems and the money clears, why does it go up every single year?
Actuaries.
Ah.
Actuaries. Okay. So actuaries they've been invented from the insurance companies. Okay. And insurance companies know numbers better than any other companies on the planet. And so based on their statistics and their actuarial data, if the longer that you stay on an insurance policy, the more probability there is for you having a major claim.
Sure.
Okay.
Eventually you're going to get sick.
And let's be honest, guys. Everybody needs to know this. Insurance companies are not in business to pay claims. They're in business to take your premiums. Okay. And so that's why guys like me are extremely valuable to the market, is because we can go in and help to shop these plans for you every single year and save you as much money as possible and keep you within good coverage. That's been the mission of my company for the last 25 years, bro. I'm telling you that we do three things, and our guys know this. We're going to do three things. We save our customers on average $500 a month. Okay. Think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially in today's marketplace, in today's economy. We're saving everybody $500 a month on their health insurance. We're giving them the top quality PPO networks there are. So you can keep your doctors, you can keep your hospitals, you can go to the facilities that are near you. You have access to all the acute medical facilities there are on the planet. And then third, we're going to make sure that you have top quality major medical and catastrophic coverage. So if something big happens, heart attack, cancer, stroke, seizure, kidney failure, renal failure, tumor, paralysis, pneumonia, you get $1 million medical bill, you need to go to the top specialist on the planet. Well, we're going to know that you're going to be taken care of. A, your health is going to be top notch. B, your financials are going to be in order. The plans are going to pay. So those three things are extremely valuable, and nobody else out there does it. And last but not least, man, if we can't help you, if you come to us and your plan is the best you can get, if the rate that you're paying is the best you can get, we're going to tell you to keep it. Stay with where you are. And if anything changes, let us know. We'll help you when the time's right.
Yeah. Talking about that, like you do different carriers, Anthem, Kaiser, there's different networks and stuff with that. Why wouldn't somebody just go directly to them? Why do they need somebody like you?
Yeah, great question. So we've got every company there is, all the major carriers, Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana, United Healthcare, Aetna, all of them, okay? And one of the great things about insurance in the insurance industry is the consumer, you, me, we pay the exact same rate, whether we go direct online, whether we call the insurance company direct or whether you call a broker like myself, okay? The reason that my services are advantageous is because I'm unbiased, okay? I want your business. I want to help you. So if Anthem's the best option for you, I'm going to put you on Anthem. If Humana's the best option for you, I'm going to put you on Humana. So it doesn't matter. It's free to you. And so you're getting someone who has an expert PhD. I got a PhD in health insurance and life insurance. I've been doing it 25 years. I've been on over 10,000 virtual sales calls, and I've sold over $200 million worth of insurance premiums. So I've got a pretty high level knowledge of this and a track record of success of really, really helping people.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many people do you have working with you and with your firm right now?
Internally, I've got 6 guys that are full-time with us right now. Externally throughout the country, I think we're at about 4,500 agents.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That sell and service our products.
So, how do you go about getting started? Some young kid out there looking and say, man, it sounds like a pretty good thing. I mean, let's be honest, residual income.
Residual income.
Good money. You're going to get paid every month, regardless, as long as they're making that payment and stuff.
Absolutely.
How does somebody get started? And what's some of your headaches? What are some of the issues that you find that you're having, especially in today? And let's even go back to COVID and everything else when things were shut down. Did it affect you in any way? And, how do you reach the customer?
Yeah, the first thing that I would do if I were someone who wanted to get in the insurance business, I would look for someone who has a system, who has a proven track record of success. They've been doing it for a long time, and they have a program and a system that is duplicatable, okay? So that's step one. Reach out to that person. You can reach out to me at Red Taylor Insurance, at my company, whoever it is that you want to be with, and see if you are a candidate to plug into that system. You'll either be sponsored. We sponsor our agents and help them to go get licensed. You're going to have a health and life insurance license. And then we put you through a rigorous training program. We're going to get you up to speed on the knowledge of our products. We're going to get you up to speed on the knowledge of the competitors out there, which, we all have them, and put you in a situation where you have an opportunity to succeed, okay? So that's the way that you go get a system. The average insurance agent, listen to this will blow your mind. The average insurance agent over the last 20 years, you know what their lifespan is? 90 days. 90 days.
And working in the field.
Yeah, that's it. They can't make it. You know why? They don't have a system.
Right.
They don't have a system, and
it's
dog eat dog.
Drive. Well, let's be honest. You got to have a drive, and you got to also be able to be rejected. You can't tell me, because in sales at all, like you're banging on doors, you're trying to get business. People already have insurance, right? So, you're dealing with that every day, and if you're going to deal with rejection, and if you don't have a strong backbone, that's probably why they're gone in 90 days.
Yeah. It's a lot of different factors, and not being able to deal with rejection. Dealing with rejection has never been an issue with me. I mean, I don't get it. So
that's why you've done 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I think that even in life, I mean, it's. Listen, if you get a no, then that means you're one step closer to a yes, okay? It's all a numbers game. Keep knocking on the doors. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep striving to get better. Work on your mental game. Work on your thought game. Our thought game is so important to us. And like I said, 84% of our thoughts are negative, okay? Well, what would we have to do in order to make 84% of our thoughts positive? Well, we have to work on it. We have to focus on it. We have to visualize. There's a story that I heard.
You can or change the way you think about it.
Yeah.
When you sit there and say, the no's one step closer to yes, I always see that. I actually train the same thing. But when somebody says no, it's not N-O. No, it's K-N-O-W. I need to know more. They just not educated enough.
Love it.
Type of thing. So, and that's really where it comes to. Who's more educated? Who's going to take the time, okay, to know K-N-O-W more about what they're doing. And I find that to be true. A lot of people today, they want the money. They see a guy like yourself. I want to be Red. I want to be him. You know what I'm saying? I want to make millions of dollars and stuff. Well, Red didn't just wake up and make millions of dollars. It started with that first customer, worked into the second and everything else. But it took a lot of perseverance in order to get there. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. No, brother.
Did anybody hand you a portfolio and say, here, Red, take over my portfolio?
Never.
Yeah, okay.
Not
I
to
didn't
this
think
day. I tell you what it takes. It takes believing in yourself, okay? Something about me, I've always believed that I was going to be successful. I don't know why, but I just did. It's like I said earlier, God put a dream in my heart, and I knew that I was better than what I'd came from. I knew that I deserved better. I knew that I was going to achieve better, and I've always believed in that. I've always believed in myself and my ability to overcome and to achieve. The Bible says that, I'll go back to the Bible. It's the greatest book ever written in the history of humankind, that as a man thinks, so he is, okay? And so it's our thought game. What do you think about yourself? What do you think in your dark times? What are you telling yourself, okay? Well, I can become. I can achieve. I'll tell you a story. There was a man by the name of David Gibbs, and he was Dr. Gibbs. He's the only guy in the world that's completed two triathlons, Ironmans, okay? Ironman competitions, okay? He was 59 years old when he did it, and he did them on back-to-back days, okay? So he's the only man that's ever done the double Ironman competition, okay? And so they asked him afterwards, they're like, man,
wait a second. David Goggins did it all in one day. Anybody that goes 200 miles.
Yeah, but this was before Goggins. This is years ago. So anyways, so they asked it. They came to him.
Those people are different, though. Let's just be honest. Those people are different.
Yeah. But the story says true. They asked him, said, "Man, how did you do that?" Because when you're going, through that grueling, exercise, the pain of it, and you're telling yourself, "You can't go on. You can't go on. You can't. I'm not going to be able to finish. All the negative thoughts. This is killing me. All the negative thoughts." He simply said, I learned to quit listening to what my brain was telling me, and I learned to quit talking to my brain instead. And so he's telling himself, I can accomplish this. I am worthy. I am capable. I am greater than. And so I think that is so, that's so prominent on all of us, dude. What are we telling ourselves? Because we're going to go through tough time. I mean, you wake up in the morning, right? You hit your feet on the floor and something adversity's coming at you right now, okay? It don't matter if it's coming at 10 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour, it's headed towards you. Would you agree?
100%.
Okay?
Sure.
And it's not the adversity that's going to make the difference in our success or our failure, but it's how we handle that adversity. We all have the ability. You have the ability inside you to handle those hard times like a champion. But you can only do that if you're telling yourself, you got this. You got this. It's temporary. I'm going to be able to get through it. I'm going to be better on the other side. Something is setting me up to achieve on a higher, greater scale, but I just got to handle this deal like a champ.
Hey, folks, this is WamBam at WamBam's Podcast. I just wanted to let you know that we've launched our website and merchandise is now available to you. That's right. We have hats. We have T-shirts. We have hoodies. The hoodies have been going off the shelf already. The Stay Positive hoodies. That's right. Stay positive, folks, and keep testing negative. As you know, go to our website at www.wambamspodcast.com. That's www.wambamspodcast.com. Now back to our show. Yeah. Jumping back into the insurance part, you guys do in health insurance, but you also do life insurance and other types of insurance as well, correct?
Yeah.
So when do you find that it's most important for somebody to get actually life insurance? A lot of these kids today, younger kids, younger generations, and I say this because I actually dabbled in this. I'll tell you my story in a minute. But the reality is, as a young kid, you don't think you need life insurance, right? Because you're like, I'm not going to die for a long time.
Right.
And if I die, who cares? I'm not getting paid.
Right.
I don't have a family, somebody leave it to or stuff like that. Explain the theory behind that and why people need life insurance.
Yeah, great question. There's a lot of different theories. And I'll just go back to what Dave Ramsey says, okay? Because it's really an alternative view that what's popular today. But Dave says that life insurance is strictly for income replacement. So if you're married, if you have children, if you have people that depend on your income, okay, then as a man, as a person, I have a responsibility to get my family's financial house in order. So what if something happened to me like something happened to my mom, okay? And my family is dependent on my $100,000 a year to live, to pay the mortgage, to pay the car payments, to pay, the kids to go to college, to pay for Kennedy's wedding, okay? And I don't have any life insurance for them. Am I being the proper kind of man? Am I taking care of my responsibility? So in order to take care of our financial house and get our financial house in order, we need to have at least 10 to 12 times our annual income in a 20-year level term life insurance, 30-year level term life insurance policy. Okay, this is one of the viewpoints, and this is Dave's big viewpoint. This is his philosophy, and it's got a lot of merit to it. Okay, so if you make $100,000 a year, you need $1 million worth of life insurance. If something were to happen, your spouse, your family, they get $1 million upon your demise, upon your death. Okay. And then what we would recommend them do is take that $1 million. Don't go spend it and pay everything off. Invest it. Okay, and start creating an income off of it. Good growth stock, small cap, large cap, international mutual funds. I think over the last 80 years, what does it return? About 12%. Okay, if we can get 9-10% of that, well, you got $100,000 a year. Plus, you got your $1 million sitting over there for you. Okay, and it's cheap. And the younger you are, and the more healthy you are, it's so easy to get. There's a opposing viewpoint, okay? A financial advisor's viewpoint where you can get cash value indexed whole or permanent life insurance.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Whole life versus term. Okay.
Yep.
Explain the difference to that to viewers, because I'll just tell you, like back in the day, somebody had told me a really long time. I was young. I was in my 20s. Obviously I met a girl, had a getting a child and stuff. So things start changing real quick, right?
Yeah.
And, somebody told me to go ahead and do a whole life because it had a cash value. And you know what? I started out with, I think, a $250,000 policy, and then I upped it to a $500,000 and up to $1 million and stuff.
Right.
But in the process of that, it built cash value.
Right.
Well, 15, 20 years fast forward, okay, go through some heartache, business partner kind of screwed me over and stuff. Lost millions of dollars from it.
As life happens.
I have to start up my own company, do something different. And I was able to borrow against it and actually utilize that money to help me without any penalties.
Yeah.
As long as I paid it back, which I have obviously since then. But, you know, it actually pulled me out of a hole.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't really think about that part. I was just thinking, well, if I die, it's going to go to my kids. I didn't think about how I can utilize it and use it, you know, to strategically help me, you know, elevate what I needed to do as well.
Right. So, like I said, there's an opposing, an alternative viewpoint than what Dave has, and that's the whole life or cash value life insurance. It's an affectionately referred to today as your own virtual bank, just like you said. Mm-hmm. So, you buy an amount, let's just say $1 million, okay, and your cash, and you start building up cash value in that $1 million. So if you, let's say $1 million, let's just say it costs you $20,000 a year to buy $1 million whole life policy. Well, 5,000 of that goes towards your $1 million, and the other 15 goes into your cash account. And you know, whatever your fees you're paying off that and whatever interest you tie it to, that's where it is. And so you continue to do that. Well, let's just say you do that, you got $150,000 plus interest. Let's just say you got $200,000 sitting in that account after 10 years, okay? And you go through a situation in life and you need some money. Mm-hmm. Well, there's your bank. You have a bank there. And so now you have an opportunity to pull from your own bank or go to a regular bank. Who's got the better terms? I don't know. You be the judge. Figure it out. Who's got the better terms?
Right.
Okay? Because anytime you're pulling money from a vehicle, okay, there are going to be terms on the back end, right? So we're going to have to, if you pay it back, it's going to be paid back with what?
Right.
Interest.
Of course.
Right? Okay. So it's whatever the better terms are for you at that time. But if you want to, if you're interested in having your own virtual banking system to where you can borrow your own money, then cash value, whole life, IULs are really good programs.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't know enough about that because
it's complicated, man.
Well, and you know, I think a lot of it goes to the pricing. Like you said, it could cost you $20,000 a year for a policy. Well, I can get the same coverage. I can get $1 million life insurance for a couple $100, right? You know what I mean? You know, so they're like, why would I want to spend this for the same life insurance that I can get for a couple $100?
Right.
They don't understand the difference in how it can position them in the future to benefit them and how to benefit it from it. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's an overall issue with people, not only today, but long term, is most folks are so wound up and bottled up by dealing with their day-to-day life, man. You know, one of the greatest regrets that I have is sending my kids to public school. Okay. Yeah. You know, public school, all it did was teach our kids to be employees, to go and work in a system. I mean, think about it. The bell rings. Okay. I mean, you're in class for an hour, right? And think about this. You're in a classroom for an hour and we're studying math. We're studying geometry. We're studying algebra. Okay. Really important stuff, right? Bell rings, bam, close the book, get up and leave. Doesn't matter anymore. And then we go to the next place and we try to study something else. So none of it's truly important. But just like in the factory, when that bell rings, we're programmed to do an action, an activity, okay? And so I think that's what happens to the vast majority of people is we get programmed to go and get into a workforce where we're 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We're an hour in our car there. We're an hour in our car home. By the time we get home at night, we're hoping to be able to have some dinner, sit down, look at our wife and our kids, and just pray to God that by 8:30 we can sit there and watch TV and drool out of our mouth until we go to bed at 10:30 and then wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. Much less think about our investments, our life insurance needs. What's our best option to be successful with our finances? Is there an opportunity for me to go and open a business? Man, we get calls all the time for people thinking about going self-employed and opening their own business. You know what the number one fear and question they all have? Health insurance. Okay? They don't get it. They don't understand. They've always clicked plan, at open enrollment at your company. Okay, that HR department, they send you a document. They say, well, you can get plan A for $1,000 a month. You can get plan B for $1,200 a month. You can get plan C for $1,500 a month. Well, everybody clicks plan A. Okay.
Price.
Yeah.
All about price.
It's all about price.
They don't look what you're getting for the price.
That's right.
It's about price.
And they don't realize that as an employee, your company must pay 50% of your health insurance premium. Okay. So for the employee, it's really cheap or free. But then when you add the spouse or the spouse and children, that's when the prices go up sky high. So what we've done and how we've helped American families over the years is we take the employee, leave them on that plan. Okay. If it's good, if it's cheap, stay there. Okay. Let's take your spouse and children and go put them on a Red Taylor insurance plan. Brother, we're going to save you back $500, $600, $700 a month. And everybody's still got the same coverage. Okay. People don't know they can do that, right? Because they're so tied up in their 9 to 5 and their grind of just trying to get by. Right. Okay. And that goes back to life insurance. Nobody understands all this life insurance stuff. Okay. Right. They've got a job and nobody
wants to deal with it either. You know, it's funny because I got harassed and you know, by a couple of friends in the past because they're like, you know, why you spend all this money in life insurance, you know, and stuff. Why do you do that? And all I did was ask them one question. I said, you know, Red, let me just ask you something. God forbid you had a terminal illness and you had 24 hours to live. Would you not want to make sure that your family and significant others are taken care of?
Absolutely.
Then you just answered my question. You know what I mean? And they don't think like that. They just don't think, because we don't realize that day is going to come. You know,
it's never going to happen to me.
It's never going to happen.
Never going to happen until
it happens.
It's never going to happen to me.
That's right. The one thing I can guarantee you, we're all going to die, unfortunately. You know, there's nothing that's gonna keep us here, and that sucks. Yeah. You know, going in insurance more. What about dental? What's your theory on dentist insurance? More and more, I see more and more people today, you know, are having kids needing braces. You know, there's all different things. You got veneer teeth now. There's so much going on. You know, you're gonna have cavities. You got root canals. You got all these things going on. But there's really no real good dental insurance, is there?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some good plans, and I'll tell you, this is something that I've developed over time with experience and a little wisdom, okay? Because I've got 6 children. So early on in my career, I was like, dental insurance is a waste. You go to get your teeth cleaned twice a year, you pay $150, nothing's ever going to happen to me. I don't have any stuff. Now, as life goes on, I gain experience, and I'm shelling out thousands of dollars at the dentist office or the orthodontist. I had 3 kids in braces. Mm-hmm. Then you realize the value of dental coverage. So what I tell folks is, generally speaking, the dental plans that we have, if you just get your teeth cleaned twice a year, you're at a break even. Okay. So let's just say it's $150 a month. You got a family of 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you go get your teeth cleaned. It's a little bit more than $150 a month now per cleaning. It's about $250 per cleaning. Then you throw in x-rays and all that kind of stuff. So if you get your teeth cleaned twice a year per person in the family, you're going to be a break even. If somebody needs a cavity, an extraction, a bridge, a root canal, all those kind of things, crowns. Okay. That's when you actually can get into the positive with your dental plan. We've got them with all the major carriers out there, whether it's United Healthcare, Humana, an Aetna, Cigna, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a family, unless you've got a pile of cash sitting up, it's in your best interest to pay a little extra money for your dental insurance.
You know, do you see it's been a difference over the years coming? Because I got some theory behind that. Like, I really feel like more and more dental problems are happening with these kids today because of what they're eating, what they're putting in their body and stuff. Yeah. There's so much, things that are going into the foods today with these young generation, these young kids, the sugar, the substitutions, they're not organics, products and stuff they're putting in. And it's rotting the teeth. Yeah. It's rotting their gums. Yeah. It's providing problems. And guess what? When you get hit with a $3,000-$4,000 dentist bill,
you feel it.
You feel it.
That's right. And to that point, Phil, what I've noticed over the years is people who have dental insurance, they get their teeth cleaned on a regular basis. They go to the dentist twice a year, right? Okay? Because when you walk out of the dentist office, when you walk out of the back, what does the little lady up front say? We're going to go ahead and schedule your appointment for 6 months, and we'll send you a reminder. You say, okay, go ahead and schedule it. If you don't have dental insurance, guess what happens? We're going to go ahead and schedule your appointment for 6 months, and we'll send you a reminder. No, that's okay. I'll call you back. Okay? Yeah. Well, now you're going that much more time. You're skipping 6 months. Now you're 12. Now you're 18 months. And you're pouring all those negative things into our teeth, and you're creating larger problems that are going to cost you more money down the road. I've seen it over
pay
and
now,
over
pay
again.
Later. You're going to pay.
That's insurance. That's it.
That's it. That's it. That's right. So let's talk about the flip side of that. What about fraud, man? Do you get a lot of fraud in insurance? I know there's been, in the past, there were some big rings going on with insurance fraud and, people filing things and stuff. What is that like? What does it do to your company when you get hit with something like that?
Thank God, man, I've never experienced that. We've never had, thank you, Lord. And it goes back to the culture of our people and the type type of people that I'm attracted to and that are attracted to my company. We want to do it the right way. But, bro, I've seen some guys in this business that have just gone out of their way to screw it up. I mean, money makes people do really, really bad things sometimes, you know. I've always felt like the true character of a person comes out when they have money, okay? Whether you're a good person or a bad person, it's going to show how you are if you have money, right?
How you handle it, absolutely.
How do you handle it, okay? And once you see that money start flowing in and they figure out a little edge, then greed and desire comes in and people cut corners and people skirt the system and they try to do things that, nobody's ever going to find out. This is okay. No. We do it by the books, okay? It ain't worth it. It's not worth it, I don't think, in any realm of our society. Bro, look at your place. This is amazing, okay? What you've accomplished here, what you have is beautiful. It's something else. And I know that you're doing it lawfully, okay?
Of course.
Same with me. There's so many opportunities for people to be successful and to become rich and to gain the life that they want by doing it the right way. But it's on the other side of the things that we're avoiding. It's the hard work. The work has to be done. Period, point blank, end of story. Go to work, do it the right way. Look, man, if there's going to be a 400-pound bench in the weight room, right? It doesn't matter if it's you. It doesn't matter if it's me. It doesn't matter if it's Panda, whoever. It's just the work's got to be done, okay? Somebody's got to grab that bar and attack it and defeat it. Okay. Right. That's the way and you can't cheat it. You can't cheat. Nope. Okay. It has to be done the right way or you're not going to be successful with that lift. On the farm, people don't ever think about this. Think about the farm, and nobody thinks about the farm anymore. Think about cheating the farm. Okay. Think about, I don't think I'm going to go and plant in the spring. Tired. I just don't feel like it today. We're going to wait. Let's just wait till the summer to plant. Those weeds, I'll wait and pull those weeds. I won't fertilize. And what happens in the fall? You don't reap a harvest, okay? There's nothing there to reap because you tried to cheat it. You tried to shortcut it. That's life. That's business. That's your relationships. That is who you are as a person and how you become successful, how you have joy, how you have fulfillment, how you become the person that it in your mind's eye to see and become the best version of yourself is to do those hard things. Keep the promises to yourself. And in doing that, you become more confident. You become more pride. You become more willing to give and nurture and help others. And let's face it, bro, the reason that you're doing this podcast is to make a positive impact on people. Absolutely. And you're dang good at it, man. And I'm so thankful that you have me here because God's called me to make a positive impact. There is no other legacy that I want to leave on this earth than by helping others and making a positive impact on them. Amen. And I think that's one of the amazing, beautiful things that God's given you and I about this platform.
Amen. Amen to that, man. Well said. I don't even know if I can go anywhere after that. That was well done.
Come on, brother. I teed it up for you.
Let me just ask you real quick before we close. Who had the biggest influence on you in your life?
Yeah, great question.
And then part two, why?
Okay. So the biggest impact on me was my high school football coach, Spence McCracken. Coach McCracken.
Wait a second. That's not a joke. McCracken?
No, Spence McCracken. Hey.
I could already see that.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Crack. Hey, and he's still a good friend today. And I really attribute a great deal of my success to Coach McCracken. And I know Coach has made a positive impact to thousands of young men. And, you know, he was so intense, okay? And he believed in us so much, man. Like I said, you got these blue-collar white kids from these hard-nosed families, okay, in Montgomery, Alabama, and these, you know, black kids from the projects and from, you know, blue-collar families over in their neighborhoods, because we didn't live in the same neighborhoods back then. It was back in the 80s and 90s. But, man, he brought us together, and he worked us so hard, and he inspired us so much to make us believe in ourselves and believe in each other. When we would screw it up, he wouldn't say, "You suck, get out of here, I can't deal with this, give me somebody else." He'd say, "You're better than that. Okay, hey, we got to have you. Okay, and that was his thing, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now today. Okay, and I'll never forget this. We were sitting at a buddy of mine's house. It was like a wedding party, and it's well after high school. And Coach McCracken, I came over there and sat down next to him at a table out there by a pool or whatever. And he says, he reaches over there to me, and he's my idol, man. I mean, he's my idol.
That's awesome.
And he reaches over there to me, says, "Hey, Red." He always high-pitched voice. "Hey, Red." I said, "Yes, sir, Coach." He said, "What's your definition of a great person? What's your definition of greatness?" And I was like, "Oh man, here we go." Somebody that goes out, does everything they can to do the job the right way, work hard, being a leader and all this, all the things that you think he would want me to say, right? Okay. And he looked at me when I was done. He said, "Red," he said, "a leader is someone who can inspire others to accomplish great things." And I was like, man, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Amen.
Man, I never forget that, okay? And Coach has made such an impact on so many people by pouring into them that way. And when I started my show, and I know you felt the same way starting your show, I don't even look at the downloads anymore. Because what I felt like is I was called to do this to begin with, and I felt like Coach McCracken has made such a profoundly positive impact on the world, speaking to 5 young men at a time, okay, 20 guys at a time, a team of 70 at a time, okay, that if that's all my audience is, if that's all it is, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, okay? If you're within the reach of my voice, the sight of my ugly face, I'm talking to you. You are better than what you're doing right now. You got that dream inside of your heart, and God put it there, and it's going to take you to act on it. You got to get over your fears and believe in yourself and take the step. Be smart. Take calculated steps. Prepare. And you can achieve those dreams.
There you have it, folks. Well said, Red. And Red Insurance. I tell you right now, anybody viewing right now, go ahead. We're going to pop up here on the screen how to get a hold of Red Taylor Insurance. Let him come in. Let him give you a quote. Let him show you how he can also help you in your life more than what you just heard. But at least apply a couple things that you heard today. Because you know what? As WamBam always says, if your life was a movie, would it be worth watching? And if the answer is no, then stop being ordinary and start being extraordinary. This is your boy WamBam. As always, stay positive, baby, and keep testing negative. Till next Wednesday, I'm out.
You let me ramble, man. Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. Call 1-855-391-9190 and find out why they are the future in merchant